The morning hours have long been a source of inspiration for artists throughout history. And that same inspiration can even be found at Grandfather Mountain, where the resident artisans exchange their paintbrushes for Paws.
So we paint with our animals here at Grandfather Mountain as a way to give them enrichment and break up their day. It's a fun little training exercise for them. It builds up their trust with their keepers and gives them something easy and simple and fun to do in the day. We tend to think of Flower as our most artistic bear here at Grandfather because she tends to be very delicate with her painting style. She likes to place her feet very exactly on our paint and then very exactly again on the canvases or the papers. We get our bears to paint by offering them rewards. Usually for a lot of our bears we'll use things like honey or syrup or apples or grapes, whatever we know that they want to work for that day. And then we will put some paint on the ground in their enclosure, and we'll put some paper on the ground beside that paint, and then we will just ask the bears using usually a target stick. We'll ask the bears to walk through the paint, and then we'll give them a treat for walking through the paint, and then we'll ask them to walk onto the paper or the canvas and give them another treat. And usually they're very, very happy to do it because they always want those treats. They know that they're gonna get them. It's a very easy thing for them to do. So when we paint with our animals, our bears or our otters or our cougars, we always ensure that we use materials that are very safe for them so that if they decide they want to eat the paint or the paper, it won't really matter. They'll be perfectly fine. So when we are choosing our paints out, we always pick kid-friendly paints that are completely non-toxic and safe for them to ingest. We of course try to encourage them not to eat their paint because that's kind of gross. But if they choose to, it is perfectly safe for them to eat that paint. Out of our two cougars, Logan and Trinity, they're actually both equally artistic. Both of them are very, very good at making paintings and they both really, really enjoy it. They do have preferences for time though. Logan tends to be most artistic, most willing to paint in the morning when he is well rested and ready to start his day, versus Trinity, our female, she actually prefers to paint after dinner at night. We will always set up our painting studio in their night house, their dens. So we put a little bit of paint on the floor for them to kind of walk through, and then right beside that paint we put some canvases or some papers down for them to step on. And then once we've locked everything back up and the keepers are back in our safe hallway, we let the cats in and we use treats to ask them to paint for us. So typically Logan and Trinity like to train the most for trout, but they'll also paint for deer meat. So usually the way I'll ask them to paint is I will have a target stick and I'll ask them to put their nose against that target stick and then walk them through the paint, give them a treat, and then walk them over and across their pieces of paper so that we get some nice pretty artwork from them. If Logan, for example, doesn't want to paint, we always leave the door open for him so that he can just walk outside. And then for Trinity, it's the same thing. We always leave her door open during painting sessions so that if she decides that she's not feeling it today, she'll just walk away from us and then we'll clean up and give them the last of their treats. So our most artistic otter here at Grandfather is Uno, our river otter. He is probably our most artistic because he's just the most enthusiastic. He enjoys painting the most. He's always willing to run through the paint as fast as he can and then run onto the canvas and get all of his treats. So our otters are super energetic animals. They tend to move around really, really fast and they have a short attention span. We mostly paint with them by just moving really fast. You have to be willing to pay attention to the animal and see whether or not they're still kind of interested in what you're doing, what you're asking them to do. A lot of times painting with Uno, for example, is a lot of just kind of watching his body language, making sure that he's still interested in what we're doing and moving as fast as you can to keep him engaged in the painting. So if anyone is interested in purchasing a painting made by our animals here at Grandfather, we sell them up at the gift store with the rest of our souvenirs and sweaters and whatnot. They're just displayed very beautifully behind the front desk and you can just ask our sales associates to bring them down and show them to you. We always love sharing them with people because we are very proud of our animals' artwork, and we feel like they're just very unique and special.
Hi, my name is Jesse Pope. I'm the President and Executive Director of the Grandfather Mountain Stewardship Foundation. Thank you for watching this video. Click the subscribe button below. And to learn more about Grandfather Mountain, visit grandfather.com, and you can support our mission there to inspire conservation. Thank you.